iPhone 17 Pro.
From solid aluminium and durable and durable and durable. Biggest battery.
The battery performance of my 16 Pro has been pretty good.
The Thorwitz camera plateau.
I don't have a camera plateau.
Completely new thermal system.
A brand new vapor chamber.
17 Pro.
Oh man, I just finished paying $150 a month off for the 16 Pro, but there's not that much of a difference. Oh, what? $2,000. It actually went up by another $200. Oh, but it has 256 gig of storage instead of 128. Well, that makes sense. I don't need this. Well, here we go, the iPhone 17 Pro versus the iPhone 16 Pro. We're going to take a quick walk around both phones side by side so you can actually see what the differences are. I think the first thing anyone's going to notice is this brand new camera plateau, as Apple is calling it. And it goes across the entire back of the phone and actually extends out a little bit further than what the iPhone 16 Pro's bump was, which makes the phone slightly more raised when you have it on a table and angled towards you, which is one of the major changes that I noticed immediately. It is slightly bigger and it is slightly thicker than the iPhone 16 Pro. Now, the weight difference is a little bit more, but when you have both in the hand, the balance of the iPhone 17 Pro versus the 16 Pro makes that weight difference not that noticeable. Now, the biggest change is the fact that the iPhone 16 rocked that premium titanium finish, while the 17 Pro now switches to a unibody chassis designed purely from aluminium. Does it change the way that the phone feels? Absolutely. It's gone from this kind of premium design to this slippery aluminium. And I've already had friends dent their iPhone 17 Pros, even with a case on it. So goodbye to the titanium and hello to the aluminium, but we did get some pretty cool new colors. We've got the silver, cosmic orange, and a deep blue. So if you wanted a phone that looked different to the previous years, you've definitely got options, just unfortunately no black version. So if we take a look at the left side of the phone, we're not going to notice too much of a difference except for the SIM card tray being pushed slightly further down. On the right side, it's still the same power button and it's still the same camera control button. If we look at the bottom of the phone, there is a slight difference. The fact that the 16 Pro has the antenna line on the bottom while the 17 Pro does not. And if we take a look at the top, you'll see that the antenna line has disappeared from the 16 Pro. Apple finally bumped the base storage to 256 gig on the 17 Pro, up from 128 gig on the previous model. But they also jumped up the price by $200 in Australia. In terms of benchmarks, the new A19 Pro is scoring some insane numbers. It pretty much puts the phone kind of on par to an M3 or M4 CPU that's in a computer, which is pretty crazy. That performance is also reflective when you look at the graphics component too. Now that's a massive graphics upgrade. Plus, we're finally getting 12 gig of RAM in the iPhone 17 Pro versus 8 gig of RAM in the 16 Pro. So Apple has improved the thermal management on the 17 Pro. It now includes a vapor chamber, which is pretty much a game changer in my opinion. It finally fixes that annoying hot spot that used to occur on the 16 Pro. If you haven't watched my review, go check that one out. Especially when I was running Lightroom and doing masking and things, sometimes the phone would get so hot that it would actually turn off. Especially noticeable with AI tasks. Let's talk about the battery life because it's one of the most interesting standout upgrades. What's fascinating is that the difference is based upon whether you get the physical SIM or the eSIM version of the iPhone 17 Pro. Now, Apple used that space from ditching the SIM to jam a larger battery into the phone. However, being in Australia, that variance is not as large as you would want it to be. So in terms of networking and connectivity, there are some changes that I've seen a lot of people miss out online and not talk about. The iPhone 17 Pro gets the upgraded Qualcomm X80 modem from the X75 that was in the 16 Pro. Now, how that translates to real-world 5G connectivity, we'll have to see in the long term. Apple also did another change where they've included their N1 wireless networking chip, which is separate from obviously cellular connectivity, which includes Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6 on the 17 Pro. And the wireless charging is faster. And for speakers, the difference between the 16 Pro and the 17 Pro is slightly different, but there is a better sound quality coming from the 17 Pro in terms of clarity. The main and ultra wide lenses are the same hardware that was used on the iPhone 16 Pro. But the A19 Pro has included a new image signal processing and neural engine. And fundamentally, this does make some changes in terms of the color science when you're shooting videos and photos on the phone. This also applies if you're shooting video. You can do Apple Log 2, ProRes RAW, Genlock, and some of these other interesting features on the A19 Pro. If you're into that type of thing and know how to use it, you'll know what that's all about. The Telephoto is the biggest camera change physically. It's now a 48 megapixel versus a 12 megapixel. And it's gone down to a 4 times native zoom with 8 times optical zoom. Now, does that make a huge difference? Well, again, if we're talking about consistency and changing between lenses as you shoot, it's going to make a big difference. There is an interesting change, and it is with the front-facing cameras, because we now have the ability to record vertical just by tapping a button rather than having to change the whole phone around. Now, this front-facing selfie camera, not bad, good upgrade. Is it a huge difference? Is it end of the world? I don't know, a little bit of filters and you're gonna look pretty either way. So they might look the same on the front, but the iPhone 17 Pro can sustain a higher brightness level of 3000 nits. I never really found that to be a huge issue, but what I did find was that the cooling system on the 16 Pro would create a auto dimming mode. It also has Ceramic Shield 2 on the screen, but if you're using a screen protector, to be honest, I'm not sure how much that helps. I did notice, however, that the white point on the 17 Pro is a little bit more natural than what's on the 16 Pro. If you made it this far in the video, please like and subscribe, because I will have a full review of the iPhone 17 Pro once I get stuck into it a little bit longer. Is it worthwhile upgrading? No. Save your money, use that $2,000 to buy some Apple shares if you're floating with cash, and then maybe use that towards the iPhone 18 when it comes out next year. Very cool phone, bit of anxiety with the aluminium at the moment, but we'll see how we go.